Hi guys, how's it going? So now that I've told you in my last video that cardiovascular exercise, running, treadmill, cross trainer are not the key to getting the ideal physique, but rather a great tool that we can use to achieve our goal. You might be considering getting involved into resistance training, weightlifting. You just have no idea what to start with. You're new to it, so today I want to show you 3 great exercises to start with that are going to build the base of your workout so you can start getting into the best shape you like. Yeah, let's get into it. Before I even start showing you anything, let me just try to explain the basics of how this works. So before you should even start your workout, you should understand that your priorities should be your big muscles. When I say big muscles, I'm referring mostly to your legs, because that's where you have your biggest muscles in your body. Second, I'm talking about your back, your lats, you know, rhomboids, traps, all those big muscles that hold your back, and your chest. Those are your 3 big muscle groups that you should prioritize when it comes to resistance training. Because you see, when you train on these, you're gonna burn the most energy, and you're just basically going to send the biggest message to your central nervous system. Right, so let's get into it. The first exercise that I want to show you is a leg exercise, because as you can see, those are some pretty big, thick muscles that you can work with. And probably when it comes to leg exercises, the number 1 thing that you want to do is a squat, right? Or some variation of a squat. And every time I get somebody who's new to the gym, somebody who's never really been training properly with resistance training, and I ask them, can you squat? Most likely they'll tell me, yeah, I can squat, but basically their idea of squatting actually looks like this. One of the 2, right? So you'll see people going either like this. I think they're doing a good job doing that. Or you'll see people, because they know pushing their knees forward is not the best way to do it, you'll see them going like, sort of like this. And then the back goes down like that, right? You just push your hips forward like that. Right, I'm going to quickly show you how to perform the squat in just 2 very simple steps, and you're guaranteed to get it right. Right, so when we squat, first thing is where we place our feet. We don't want to go too wide, even though that is another variation of a squat. Right now we're just going to focus on a very conventional squat, very simple way of doing it. So we don't want to go too wide, that's a different variation. We want to start about shoulder width, shoulders, that's where we place our feet. Position, some people like to go like that. I prefer pointing my toes out just slightly. It all depends on how your frame is, how your body is built. Now, from this point on, as soon as we have our toes pointing out like that, we should think about sitting down in a chair, right? You don't want to start a squat by just pushing your knees forward like that. Look what happens. Yeah? So instead of that, we think about sitting back in a chair, right? Back, knees just slightly bending, and then we're just going back, down, without constantly pushing back, right? So that's the first step. Hips back, going down, going down, going down, right there. If you got as low as this step right here, now here comes step number 2. Knees. If you just keep your knees here, you won't be able to go lower. So most likely you're just gonna get stuck right there. Because you see your femur is almost hitting a wall right there. So instead, I want you to, right there, push your knees out a bit, like that. That's gonna allow you to push your hips down, right? And then we're coming back up. When I come back up, I really like to squeeze my glutes. I'm not saying you should lock your knees. Some people go like, right? I'm not saying you should do that, but I really encourage you, squeeze glutes when you come up, right? So you're coming up, squeeze. Okay, that's pretty much it. Just gonna show you a couple of reps so you can see how it looks from the side. So chest out, shoulders back. You start from the hips down, sitting down, knees out, right there on that spot. Up, 1, 2, and 3. Right, now before we go any further with a slight variation, just with the body weight, if you got stuck or you couldn't perform the body weight exercise, this happened when you went back, right? Back, and you just felt like falling down, or like you just couldn't hold it there at all. Most likely there is a big weakness right here on your glutes, hamstrings, which is causing you to basically fail doing it, right? So what happens, just to show you right here, is when you go back right there. So when those muscles are supposed to engage and work properly, they just don't work. So you just either fall down or just fall down like that, right? Big weakness here. You need some help strengthening the glutes, right? Now, I see people doing it a lot of different ways, holding it like this, like that. Personally, I found the easiest way to do it is just kind of putting it right there, underneath your chin, on your chest, ready, and you just do the same thing, right? Hips back, trying to sit down. At this point, I'm going to push my knees forward, right here, touch the bench, back up, squeeze glutes, and again. Engage my core, chest out, down, up.
Okay, we are now moving on to the second exercise, which is a lat pull down. So an exercise for your back, more precisely working on our lats, which are our biggest muscle on our whole upper body. I decided to do a voiceover just because the noise in the gym was making it very difficult. Basically what I'm explaining here is that there is lots of different variations that you can do this particular exercise. You can go wide grip on that particular barbell, or you can go narrow grip, but the conventional one that most people are familiar with is the one that I'm showing you in this example. And you want to grab the barbell just on the middle where you see that indentation, and you will see the barbell start to go down. You just grab it from there, and then all you do at that point is make sure that you are not standing upright or not leaning back too much, because if you're completely upright, you're gonna make it very difficult for your lats to work. And also, if you are leaning back too much, you are basically doing a rowing exercise, and it's no longer a lat pull down. So the angle should be around 10 degrees, and then just bring it back down towards your chest. One thing that you should keep in mind as well is try to concentrate on not bringing the weight bringing the weight down from point A to point B, but rather focusing on squeezing your shoulder blades back. So the way you make sure you do it right is by concentrating on using your back. So actively think about using your back instead of your arms, because otherwise you're just going to drag the weights down with your arms, which is not ideal. Okay, moving on to the third exercise, which is going to be an exercise for the chest. And I decided to use the machine instead of using the bench press, because I think girls would have a difficult time using the bench press. So using the machine is a very simple way to do it. Now, what I was explaining there in the video is that you don't want to push your shoulders in front like I'm just doing there. So that's basically the wrong way to do it. But instead, you should have a slight arch on your back, meaning that you should be able to just place your fingers just underneath your lower back. And this pretty much applies with every chest exercise, and doing this will ensure that you use your chest and not your shoulders. Another area that you should place attention to is the positioning of my elbows. So as you can see, I'm just about to do it in a second to perform the exercise. I don't want to keep my elbows too high, but I don't want them too tucked in either. So there should be about in the middle. Footing position on this particular exercise doesn't really matter. You can just put them wherever you feel comfortable with. So as you can see here, I'm going to press with my elbows slightly tucked in, not too high but not too tucked in either. One thing to keep in mind here, which I'm not really demonstrating correctly in the video, is that you should go fairly slow on the way back and explosive on the way up. Okay guys, so this was the 3 exercises that I wanted to show you. A couple of things to remember is that it all depends on how often you want to train, okay, because you might need some structure to it. So I'm gonna suppose you are aiming for 3 times a week, which means we would desire to train full body 3 times per week. All I'm showing you here is 1 exercise for each muscle group, but please keep in mind guys, in order to get a fairly decent workout in, we should be doing at least 6 exercises, meaning 2 for each major muscle group. So 2 for your back, 2 for your chest, 2 for your legs. I just wanted to show you 3 basic exercises. I am hoping to do a full body workout on my next video, so you can see how a proper workout should look like. But for now, you can just try working on those 3 very simple and safe exercises. They are great and they should put you on the right path to success when it comes to resistance training. Now, thank you very much for watching, and please give me a thumbs up or subscribe if you think this was helpful for you, and I am looking forward to see you next time.